OnlyFans is now 20% off.
Weirdos are gonna come after y'all.
Oh, no. Never. Oh, never.
What's going on, good people? You know what time it is. We are back with that heat. If you've been following my latest videos, you know I've been on ESPN and CBS for their hypocrisy and buffoonery. This story right here is going to make you question life itself and maybe even where you work. But before we get started, let me give a quick disclaimer. Everything I'm about to say is alleged. I don't need those sacks of shit coming after your boy. The ESPN we grew up loving is no longer the same. Their business decisions have been terrible, and they've lost the appeal that once made them the leader in sports television. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm not sure when ESPN shifted from real analysis to hot takes, but I was out as soon as they did. Now let's talk about ESPN football analyst Dan Orlovsky. He recently deleted his Protect Our Daughters tweet, stating that it didn't represent the views of his employer, ESPN. Since when did Protect Our Daughters become a controversial statement? Before we dive deeper, let me give you some backstory. ESPN recently fired Robert Griffin III and Sam Ponder in what they claim were cost-cutting moves. But is it just a coincidence that both were vocal about the belief that men should not compete against women in sports? Call me a conspiracy theorist, but it's pretty suspicious that the two who publicly supported this stance were the first to go when ESPN needed to save money. I see you, ESPN and Disney.
This is one of the most cruel and unfair situations I've ever seen happen at the Olympics. 25-year-old Algerian boxer Imani Khalif is a biological woman and competing in the welterweight division at the Olympics in Paris. In the round of 16, she went up against this woman, Italian boxer Angela Carini. Now, Carini decided to retire in the fight after 46 seconds because she got punched in the face 2 times extremely hard. So Khalif moves on to the quarterfinals and all is well, right? I mean, how could this situation be unfair or cruel in any kind of way? Stay with me. After Khalif's victory, a firestorm of misinformation and lies took over the social media world. Some of those lies were that Khalif is a biological man and a transgender woman, and that she was taking advantage of a loophole in the system that gave her an unfair advantage against the other women. Well, as they say, a lie can get halfway across the world before the truth ever puts its pants on. But as a defender of truth, I did my research, so buckle up. Imani Khalif is not a transgender woman or a biological man. Imani Khalif is a woman. She was born that way and has identified that way her entire life. This little girl is Imani Khalif. So make sure you get your facts straight before you decide to speak on or bully someone else. Khalif should not be a part of your political narratives. She should not be used to push your own agendas. And if you're trying to protect women or protect your daughters, you should be protecting Khalif. And if you're not gonna do the research, then you're the one that we need protection from.
These decisions were reportedly made for financial reasons as ESPN approaches the end of its fiscal year in September. Both Ponder and Griffin earned more than 7 figures. This brings us back to Dan Orlovsky. He saw the writing on the wall. If ESPN can fire Griffin and Ponder under the guise of saving money, what's to stop them from coming for him next? So he deletes the tweet, deciding that protecting his daughter doesn't matter as much as keeping his job at Disney and ESPN. Make that make sense, people. So, what does this say about ESPN and Disney? When will the men in the room stand up for our women and daughters without caving to the fear of retribution? Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee keep having a pissing contest about who gets paid more. It is insane that a man can't say protect our daughters or, in Dan's case, is too afraid to. I'm glad I never had to live my life bending the knee